Welcome to episode 83 of Peace Talk. This is the Peace Dealer. It's your boy. Definitely keeping this nice and strong. Shout out to those of you in the live chat showing that love. I hope you guys are prepared for this amazing full moon we're going to have. Today we have a very, very special guest representing Starseed Energetics. How you doing?
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name is Bora. You might have seen me on Peace Dealer's channel for Ascendant Rising tarot readings, so I'm here.
Thank
Hope
you,
everyone is
Bora,
well.
for
Thank
joining
you.
us. I mean, you've only done like 2 months worth of videos, and the comments have been very glowing. People really love what you've been sharing with us. So thank you.
Thank you. I think you have a really cool audience too, this crystal soul type energy.
Nice. Yeah, we
Yeah.
somehow found each other, which is amazing. So looking forward to where we take it. But yeah, I had no idea you were not in the country, which
No,
is
I'm actually in Kuala Lumpur.
cool. How do you spell that?
Cool. I didn't even know this city existed before I moved here too. It's in Malaysia.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
It's like something that was not on my map either.
Word.
So basically, have you heard of Mind Valley?
I think so.
Yeah, it's like a really, it's a huge company that does basically like I'll call it light work, but it's very grounded and rational. Like so, they work with a bunch of like spiritual teachers, biohackers to like raise
Nice.
consciousness. So that's actually where I'm at. That's my main career.
Really? That's what
Hmm.
you're doing out here. Okay. Mind
Yep.
Valley. And where are they based out of? Here?
Kuala Lumpur. That's why I'm here.
Okay, so that's their main headquarters. Okay, wow. That's
Yeah, but they have
awesome.
like they have an office in Estonia,
Okay.
and they do a lot of work in the U.S. So they're actually going to be in LA next week. So that's why I was asking you right now.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked because I'm actually planning to move to California. So yeah, I'll be around the area pretty soon. I'm just transitioning, but I just need to say again, that is super awesome.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, so you congregate with other such like minds to work on biohacking and like other more logically grounded conscious talk. It's kind of like spirit science, right? But not so animated. You
Um, well, okay, so they work with first of all like a bunch of spiritual teachers, which is the aspect that I'm in. I do Solvana, which is the super esoteric side. So we have like Neil Donald Walsh and the people like that who have courses. But the other side, they have a bunch of like scientific stuff as well. So we work with like Nassim Haramein, all these like Jason Silva, all those people, Jay Shetty, people like that who like try to push consciousness.
That's awesome.
Um, Thank you. What's cool that I'm in Kuala Lumpur? I don't really like it here.
Well, no, just that you're like out doing that. Like that's not really. That's not. That's. It looks like you're living your dream. That's what I was saying. It's kind
I
of
think
cool.
it's strange because I guess like 2 years ago I would have been like, yeah, this is it. But then it's always gets bigger. So
Yeah.
now I just have like bigger dreams and bigger dreams. But yeah, I do technology by the way. So I right now I'm making a mobile app for mass meditations, and we're trying to take it into VR actually.
That's super awesome.
Would you do
Like,
it?
wow. Yeah, absolutely. That would
Cool.
actually motivate me to meditate.
You
So
don't meditate?
I know, right? I'm telling people to deep breathe deeply. Like once I sit down, if I can get myself to sit down in less than 5 minutes, like I'm either on my phone or I have to do stuff, but that's changing. I have meditation. Um, I have meditation in my itinerary. So I found out some good techniques. I'm doing Kundalini yoga now. So it's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
I'm gonna hook you up with my app. I'm gonna give you a free membership so you can meditate.
Yes. Yes. I know you the real deal. I learned you were a Cancer the other day when I asked you. So
It's
that's
do I vibe like one?
Yeah, well, honestly, yeah. Now that I see your hair, actually, for those who don't know, what's your big three? Your sun, moon, and rising.
So I'm Cancer Sun, Libra rising, and Virgo moon.
Oh, I love Virgo moons. I can feel it. It's definitely
Why?
as a cat moon, it's just this groundedness that every Cancer Sun Virgo moon woman that I know is like highly influential in my life. Y'all are really looking out for your boy, but I just love that energy. It's like a great mix of soothing, nurturing, but also real and practical. And then you have Libra rising too, so yeah, it's definitely. I don't want to try and crush too much in front of like
Thank
more
you.
viewers, but yeah, that's what's up. That's a really. How does it feel like to be a Libra rising in these challenging times with Capricorn?
I think that everything is pretty challenging. Like yesterday, I actually resonate so much with Libra, but yesterday I was literally like, man, it's so weird to be Cancer Sun because my emotions literally, I feel like I feel emotions that people don't even know exist. That's how I literally feel.
Wow, that's
But
deep.
it's but it's also like I feel like because I'm so aware, like I always try to focus on my awareness rather than like experiences, like thoughts, emotions, and sensations. I consciously try to tune into my awareness instead, and so I feel like that's probably why I'm more sensitive to all these emotions. They're so deep. Do you feel deep?
No, I feel
What?
very shallow and insensitive, and I mean, I love it because that's just my energy. I honestly though,
Whoa!
right? I'm saying this to a Cancer. It's like, what do you mean? No, but it's important because all this Capricorn energy is like opening up my ability to feel, and it's just like dealing with this like depth that I wasn't conscious of before. And then that's what made me realize that's why subconsciously I don't meditate, because if I sit with it, then it's all gonna come, and then my Gemini doesn't want to deal with it, so I just distract myself. So I realized that I really I, I think I'm ready to really explore these feelings. And I really like that you said that you you're aware of emotions that other people don't know they have. So old kids John said Mike feels other people's emotions deep. And that's not really far from the truth. I didn't realize that I feel it, and for so long I used to think they are my feelings. But it's like I'm realizing, oh wow, like as a projector too, I process it. But there's a part of me that would just kind of cut it off so I wouldn't allow myself to feel. And now I'm like allowing myself to feel. Do you feel like you don't have a choice though? Like you just feel it even if you want to or not?
I think that it's either I'm aware of it or I'm just like suppressing that it's there, so it's just toxic. But with the whole meditation thing, I'm very surprised that I wouldn't think that you don't meditate because the level of awareness that you have on everything is like that wouldn't happen unless you had a certain state of consciousness, right? So it's possible that generally navigate through life has it's like intermingled with a state of constant state of meditation.
Yeah, and I know as I actually commit to a meditation practice, my abilities are going to skyrocket because
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to substitute that for drinking and smoking, and then change that with exercise. So that's something to look forward to. But
Smoking weed or cigarettes?
weed.
Okay.
Actually, I was thinking that because my problem was I wouldn't smoke in moderation, so I would just smoke every day and be off schedule. But I realized I can save it for meditation and be even deeper if I like smoke a little bit before I meditate. But
Huh.
I'll see. It depends what I decide to do. But yeah, that's I am so honored that you'd allow me to a free membership on your app.
Wow, of
That's really awesome.
course. I'm
Yeah.
excited because I'm not trying to plug it, but like, so we have these live group meditations, right? So
Yeah.
if you don't like meditating alone, you can tune into this like group energy field. and it actually really works. Like if it's so like tuned into the group energy.
It kind of
cutting off.
Yeah, a little bit. It's the interference. They don't want you to tell us the truth because you putting this on. And please feel free to plug anything that you want. This is your episode, so got you.
I'm Starseed Energetic, guys. I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, I have your
no.
I have your YouTube link in the description box below, so make sure y'all subscribe. But someone did ask.
Do you have experiences like this, like the Starseed?
Experiences like what?
Like, I guess extraterrestrials.
Oh, it's actually my destiny. I realized that because before I was really skeptical. Like when I really got into spirituality, I was like, I don't believe in these archangel readers. I don't believe in archangels. I don't believe in starseed. Like I believe starseeds existed, but I felt that people saying they're Arcturians or they're from this starseed, I really thought they were making it up. Like I believe it exists, but I just didn't believe it was authentic. So until I met like some really few authentic ones. So I'm willing to hear what you have to say because I know you're the real deal. I feel like it's not as much people. I think some people used it as a tool to identify themselves so they won't feel left out. But then there's some real legit ones. So I just kind of held off on that until I found someone legit to teach me.
No, I never believed in any of this either until I had like physical experiences, like physical contact.
Nice.
And the thing is, I never labeled it until like I had a few physical contact, and then it took me a few years to identify who they were. So the whole thing was like Arcturians, Pleiadians and stuff. I never even wanted to know where they were from because I was on the same kind of perspective.
Yeah.
But then they just keep sending you synchronicities to their identity. So once I start wondering like where they're from, they'll keep sending me, physical symbols that point to their origins. And then, at the end of the day, everybody kind of falls into the same star systems, not same, but like the same branches. Like there's not really, with the whole Arcturians, Lyrians, Pleiadians, like they all fall into one of those categories.
Okay.
And it's like, let's say I saw a UFO and then I'm kind of having the intention to find out where they're from. It's like they send me on a journey of like Pleiadian bombardment for a month until I'm like, okay, that they were Pleiadian. So now I can kind of gauge when I sense like people's frequency or whatever, like generally where they're from. But most people are from like a lot of different places.
So like you'll find
like,
go ahead.
It's kind of like past lives. You can't be like, oh, in my past life, I was Egyptian or Chinese. Like you had so many, but it's relevant for you to remember a couple of them right now. It's kind of like that.
So you're not like just from one star system?
No.
Nice. Okay.
Not unless you're super young soul.
Which makes sense. That's so fascinating. What's your last name, by the way, if you don't mind my asking?
Yun, Y-U-N.
Y-U-N.
Why?
Just I was pulling up your chart, so I'm big into last names. But yeah, you radiate this very high priestess energy. Like I don't want to say I feel, but I sense like this very holy presence from you. I think I'm a bit biased because I might have my rose tinted glasses on, but yeah, I totally do sense that. Oh, and now it makes sense. You're born 91, so you do have Chiron on your sun, and you are a healer in the truest sense. So I'm honored, you know what I mean, that you're on this channel. Nikki, I wanted to get to that. Nikki was asking, let me pull that back. She said, what's her specialty, topic, etc.? So let's get into that. What got you on your path? How did you become Starseed Energetics, and what is it that you focus on right now?
So when I was young, like little, pre-social conditioning, I had like really fluent interfacing with other dimensions. So like I saw fairies all the time, angels, like all of those things. But look, I'm born from a Korean family. I was born in Korea. Not kill me, but they all conditioned me out of it.
Yeah.
so what about 20, it started all coming back. I was repressing it until about that age. And then after, so the way it came back to me was I was in a yoga class for the first time. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was in the yoga class for the first time, and when they did a body scan, that was the first time I ever tried it. I kind of like transported into like a fucking dimension of light, and then after that, it started all coming back. So
Wow.
I never was into extraterrestrials until it became really obvious at a certain point, and I think is because you guys are all going to have it soon. I swear, in the next 3 to 5 years, you will all have your in experience, and eventually it'll the whole society. Yeah.
No, I hate to interrupt, but I love that you said that, because the next 3 to 4 years is when all this energy shifts to Aquarius, which represents the extraterrestrial influence. So that's great confirmation, because you put into words what I've been feeling. Like there's something that's trying to break. Even now, I can feel something looking at me from a higher dimension, but because I can only see 3-dimensionally,
Right.
it's like for a split second, I guess, because it's happening at such a high vibration or fast. But yeah.
But my point is, like, you know, our consciousness going somewhere, really evolving. And the way that we interpret reality right now is through stories, right? Like basically we think we're these characters in the story, and that's how humans interpret reality. So if you think about it in that kind of abstract way, what do you think happens to a character? Higher perspective evolves in the sense of self from like time and space. When that becomes quantum, obviously we're going to of our self-stress or make our experience.
You were saying, right? Now they want to stop her. Like, could you say that again? Because you just dropped some gems, and these bad aliens want to interfere. Whether they're bad aliens or dark spirits. Could you repeat that? So
Which part?
When you're talking about going quantum.
Our consciousness basically is it's going from a linear perspective and it's becoming quantum, right? It's not going to be tied to linear perspective anymore. So our sense of self as well, our subjectivity, the way we perceive reality, which is an infinite field, but the way that humans perceive it is like a story. We think we're in a narrative. And then when our sense of self and the subjectivity of this narrative shifts to a quantum perspective, it naturally becomes extraterrestrial, because extraterrestrials are transcendent of time and space. So it's just a very natural progression from being linear to quantum.
That was so beautifully said.
Thank you.
Yeah, that now your 12th house energy makes sense, because and I would like to, I'm definitely going to invite you back for future videos, because there's a lot we can definitely get into, but you're dropping some gold wisdom, like Brett Dickinson said. Thank you. And that's been really hard to transition, as far as like going from linear thinking to nonlinear thinking, and just like tying different things. Certain people are starting to be aware of themselves in different lives at once, in different places, multidimensionally. So
are you doing that?
Well, see, this is what I appreciate about astrology, because as a Gemini sun, Gia, she's a Cancer sun, Virgo moon, but as a Gemini sun, I'm realizing that's really a baby consciousness. So like as a Capricorn moon, I have wisdom about it, but I'm still very young when it comes, like I don't see energies. I really just claircognizantly channel. So I don't want to say I don't see it, because it's all in front of me, but no, it's like I'm barely stepping into this. A lot of it was slowed down because I have slow Taurus energy, and I take my time with it, instead of like, I know once I go consistent, this will skyrocket. But yeah, that really has helped me honor Cancers, Virgos, Libras, Sagittariuses, because I can see how the higher zodiac signs are there, and like they're learning to process it, and it helps me know my place. which is great as a messenger. So I'm looking forward to actually getting, because I am experiencing, I am experiencing an acceleration of synchronicities and just like seeing my subconscious reacting more intelligently than my conscious awareness, which is a little weird because it's letting my mind know it doesn't really run the show and I have to surrender. But that's really what it's taken me. Like, in order to harness my power, I realize more and more I have to do what I've been suppressing, and that's to feel. And it's like great maturity that comes in from like acknowledging your feelings and the feelings of others. And I'm definitely having to like, what's the word? Accept that. So that's kind of fun. I can feel you healing me while we're like talking, and everyone too. Like, you just have this powerful healing energy.
Thank you so much.
That's amazing. But yeah,
I think that because you're the astrologer guy, right? You're the astrology guy. Maybe it's holding you back to always constantly identify yourself through your signs, even though I think it's one of the most important blueprints of a human. Like, when you say you have this slow Taurus energy, like, can you maybe like let that go sometimes and just be like, the astrology exists. Okay, so astrology is manifestations of higher consciousness for sure. Whatever created humans, it's a higher level, but there's higher planes of that consciousness that you actually have access to that transcends astrology as well. No?
you know what? That's very true. And I haven't really acknowledged that as much as I should. I actually like to purposefully use parts of my chart as an excuse to kind of like.
I know, I can see that.
So yeah.
Like, I'm gonna keep smoking weed because I'm this Taurus.
So I mean, there you go. You got me right there. It's it's actually taught me a lot how to, I could be so mentally rude. Like, I've been obsessed to a degree where I try and like logically define everything, like subconsciously. So just learning to like relax, let go, and really, experience, really feel. And like Lisa Sarah said, I think you are not realizing channeling and all that is. It is more about balancing being human, especially when it comes to like noticing I'm channeling. I really just do it. So I'm learning how to like feel the subtleties. And I think now more so than ever, I'm starting to. And now, like, yeah, I'll just stop there. I almost did it again.
No, totally. Because you were talking about how you just have this claircognizant thing. And I think that's the strangest thing is when people say, oh, I'm not clairvoyant, but I have claircognizance, as if that's like a lower level of ESP, but it's actually, I view it as the highest one. It's the most subtle. So even if you don't like hallucinate stuff, if you're claircognizant, that's like such a powerful thing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's really great to know. But yeah, to kind of go more in, how did you, I don't know if you, I don't think you really touched on it, but how did you get on your path and to really get more into stars? I know you talked about the imprinting from your family. I don't want to say imprinting, but like how you had to deal with the Korean influence. But yeah, how did that motivate you to start making videos on YouTube and really sharing more of yourself?
Well, everything that I started as a spiritual journey was pushed from experience, like really crazy experiences that, like, I had a near-death experience once where in my entire, I guess, field of vision turned into like geometry, and I don't know, it was just really insane. Things like that happen, which like puts me to a place where I want to go into spirituality. The reason why I started YouTube, I would have never thought about it, but my guides were like forcing me pretty much because I was resisting it. Like, basically, like me and tarot cards have a special bond. Like, when I first found a deck of tarot cards, it felt like somebody hit me in the head, like it was like this remembrance. So I started accumulating decks after decks. I had like 60, 70 decks of cards. And one day I was like talking to my guys, like, I need more money. Like, what, like, you guys are messing me up. Like, why aren't you giving me more channels of income? And they're just like, look at your cards. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not going to do that for other people. I was only reading for myself. And so I was like resistant, but I started taking steps after steps. And now, now I'm reading cards for people on the
Thank
side.
God, because you're like really good at it. No wonder your guys are like making you do it, because it's like, we need y'all. We need you out.
Thank you.
How do you perceive the whole spiritual warfare aspect of life? What does that mean? Because I'm learning it means a lot to different people. Some people get defensive and they feel like it could mean physical war. It could be something more intense than it is, versus some people might have a too lax attitude about it, and or versus people who kind of see it as more perceptual. So I like asking cardinal signs like you, because Cancer is one of the signs that are on the battlefield. So it's definitely, being able to see all these vibrations and emotions that you deal with. So what's that like?
Spiritual warfare, what do you mean by that? Do you mean like basically dark entities versus light? Is that what you mean?
That's a great question. I mean that, as well as the multi-layered and faceted aspects of just like vibrations chaotically flinging at each other, the light versus the dark, versus, dealing with negative projections from people, knowing what it is theirs, dealing with attachments from people. What is it to you? How do you personally experience it?
Well, so basically all no, it's not comfortable, but there's always a level of awareness that I try to tune into. It's not always easy, but just like how I was saying, planetary bodies are a manifestation of a certain level of consciousness. There's always the one that everything is based from, this awareness that you can reflect on awareness rather than anything else. And that's what I try to tune into, because the spiritual warfare thing is basically entropy versus syntropy. It's like, without that, we wouldn't have any experiences. So you just have to look at it like there's entropy, which is like the undoing of the infinite information into something comprehensible or something experienceable, versus syntropy, which is like going back into the source. So we can't attach, like, there's like service to self and service to others, basically. That's the whole warfare. But what I know for a fact is service to others / entropy ends on 7th dimension. So dark entities end there. But if I could put a number to it, your awareness is basically like 12th dimensional. So in you is like the highest form of consciousness. Anything you can perceive from your awareness is actually less powerful than your awareness, because you're the one that's aware of it. So that's what
that is fascinating. Actually, I was actually debating with myself on that, as far as, do the dimensions go infinitely? But I really did start to believe that it was this book that I read from Archangel Ariel that just came to me, talking about the levels of light body. And he talked about the dimensional levels of awareness and ended at 12. So I'm glad to hear you say that. It correlates with the 12 houses. I want to believe. I want to do more research on that. But can you go through the different layers of dimensions? When you say 7th, what is that like? And that was really insightful to know that.
So, sorry to cut you off.
No, it's straight. I was actually finished. I was going to say it's insightful to know that entropy and dark forces end at the 7th, which is interesting.
What you said about infinite dimensions, that's very true, right? Dimensions are infinite and you can't put a label on it. However, we're looking at it through human eyes. That's the reason why there's 12. To other planes of existence, there wouldn't be 12, but we're having a 3rd dimensional experience, which is probably why we fractalize it into 12 dimensions, because number wise it's 3, right? In terms of like the dimensional separation, there's so many different ways to look at it. Is my audio cutting off?
No, it's perfect.
Okay, good. I'm like, it's so weird because the Wi-Fi is down today, and it's really like, it's never happened here before. Just they don't want me to talk to you.
Not at all. And
Dark.
clearly, you dropping them gems today. No wonder.
So you just have to look at it like I don't like to put such a huge division on the dimensions, just like how I don't like to view chakras as separate systems. You know how there's like 7 systems of chakras, there's like 12 people say there's 12 people say there's like one unified one. I think it's always dependent upon your perspective. So from different ways of looking at it, there's different categories you can separate it into. It's like having a whole cake and you're like, oh, this can be separated into 7 pieces. No, like it depends on how you cut it. So same with the dimensions,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
how I relate to it is first dimension is like mineral consciousness. So if you can think of like crystals, and within that is like octaves of evolution. So if you look at a rock versus a crystal is an enlightened rock. That's why it looks and vibes like that.
That's awesome.
Second dimension is like plant and animal kingdom. So if you look at a plant and the enlightened version of a plant, it's flowers, which is why it looks and vibes like that.
Wow.
And in that light body book, they tell you to take these flower essences, right?
I think so. I finished the book. I'm now at the part where they're talking about angelic potions and invocations.
Yeah, I swear they tell you to take these flower essences. And I'm like, you're doing some witchcraft.
Right? I think I'm slowly being led down that path again, which is interesting. I'm finna be a herbalist, y'all. Stay tuned. Magic Mike Medicine. It's a wrap.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, that'll really soothe my earth energy because I've been having to come back. I really do want to garden at some time, just have no experience with that. So looking for
Do it.
the energy I'm missing in my chart is Virgo. So I'm very grateful for you, especially. You're filling in a lot of blanks. But yeah, you blew my mind. So the second dimension is the animal and plant kingdom. Wow. That is amazing.
And then the third is human. And mind you, the human third dimension out of the entire 12 is the most polarized. So this is a dimension where it's the most dualistic. This is where, our consciousness, like the energy is literally like polarized the most out of all of them.
Yeah.
The fourth is astral. It's a collective field, and we're all built on that collective field, like the morphogenetic field. So we literally share a field of emotions and thoughts. We share the same web, but it just like which ones you magnetize more. So I vibe it as like you pick up things in the field, but it's never your own.
So that's what's been so uncomfortable because like I'm starting to feel like people can feel what I feel and think what I think. And I'm trying to be really like cut off to that, but it's like I feel vulnerable and naked. It's like, I need to get out my shell. It's like, but thankfully knowing that though, it makes it much easier to open up and be vulnerable, which is really awesome.
You have to practice this telepathy, the vulnerability to telepathy, because it's coming into our reality. When we shift in the fifth dimension, we're literally going to communicate telepathically, and not just spiritually, but we're going to have all this technology.
Well, yeah, I've been hearing a lot of telepathic stuff. I just don't know who it's coming from, or I'll feel like I do, and I'm like, I don't want to believe that it's coming from that person. So I've just been blocking it for so long.
Stop blocking! Stop blocking everything.
Yeah.
What are you reading? What are you reading?
Nothing really.
Are you reading my thoughts?
Am I reading your thoughts right now? Okay. Good question. So I really do believe that there's a part of me that's doing that while I'm still unconscious. Like everything you're talking about too, I think I've seen spirits, I've traveled dimensions. I've just been totally unaware of it. So I didn't even know I was doing it. So now it's like I'm going back and I'm like, oh, this is what I was doing. That's what I was doing. Sometimes I've read somebody's thoughts to the point where like they were about to say something and I immediately responded to what was in their mind, but I didn't hear what was in their mind. It's like my body did. So I'm learning like there's a psychic part of me, and I'm learning to integrate that so where it's fully conscious. and it has a lot to do with the dual nature. So far, everything that you said about the dimensions correlates perfectly with the zodiac, and how
Oh,
like
wow.
the fourth dimension description, you just described Cancer. The third dimension description, you described Gemini with the duality. And the second, you described Taurus. So you're blowing my mind right now. You're blowing
Wow,
my mind.
I never thought about it like that. We
Yeah.
should collab on some content and put it together.
I think we might be destined to be
That's so
honest.
cool. No, I never got into astrology on those deep levels, so I don't know. But I would definitely recommend there's a book called something about Hercules from Alice Bailey. Do you know Alice Bailey?
I've heard of her. She's definitely, I think she's a part of the Morning Star production, or um, she wrote for them. I've heard of her. She's part of the Theosophist Society or something about that.
Something crazy. Her books are like insane. So if you're not on the right frequency, like you will get a headache trying to read one word out of that book, you know?
Ooh.
Hey, and by the way, do you know that like Tupac would read Alice Bailey?
No, I didn't. That makes so much sense.
It makes a lot of sense. It's like some of the highest frequency books like ever.
Wow. That's
And
so
did you
cool.
know? Okay, did you know? Because I know you listen to rap. I know you make music and stuff, right? Jay-Z reads A Course in Miracles.
That makes sense. When he dropped 444, I was like, "What's he doing there?" He's trying to be very. Yeah. I believe that. I believe that.
Yeah, I think
And
it's cool.
Big Sean mentioned the seven spiritual laws. I'm getting into that too. I didn't really even know that existed until recently. So
What is that, Deepak Chopra or something?
I think so. I'm not really sure. I have yet to finish The Power of Now. Like, someone gifted me that book. I haven't really even. I have so much books that I have to go back and finish. And now I realize why, like, I'm blocked in certain parts of my path. And Spirit is like, we gave you the tools. You just need to go back and finish it. Like, don't try and skip it. But yeah, it's definitely I'm definitely grateful, because all this is starting to come together for us, and it's like we have everything we need. You know what I mean? So that's what's up. But
Are you gonna ever try like ayahuasca? Or have you done mushrooms?
I've done mushrooms a lot. I've done acid. I have done ayahuasca once, and I'm going to LA the weekend of the 7th of December to do my second ceremony.
Wow,
Yeah.
that'll be huge.
I think the first time I did it might not have been the true experience. So I'm looking to the second time as like my first. So I'm gonna treat it like a new experience again. Looking
So
forward
I
to it.
heard that with ayahuasca, because it grows in a certain area of the world, like South America, right?
Mhm.
So the plant spirit doesn't like when it's taken out of its context.
That
So
makes
if you
sense.
want like real experience, you gotta go to like Peru or Costa Rica or something like that, because you know that's their natural grounds.
Habitat. I believe that wholeheartedly. It just didn't feel authentic, to be honest, when I did it.
Mhm.
But it was a good introduction. I'm grateful for that. It definitely got. And when I did San Pedro and all that, that's what really snapped into me, where it's like I shouldn't do drugs for the psychedelic effect. It really got me into the more holistic, healthy part of this. You know what I mean? But yeah, thankfully, um, I'm just at a position where I'm ready to go back to the basics, start from scratch, and see what I can do with what I know now. But I know you stopped at the fourth. Is the fifth have to do with the heart and expanding love and
Yeah.
whatnot?
So fifth dimension is the dimension that now is, you know, how humans are like the keeper of the third dimensional consciousness, basically. Fifth is Pleiadian. So that's the one that's associated with the Pleiadian star system. You've heard of that, right? You've heard of Pleiadians?
I've heard of Palladians. I didn't know they were associated with the fifth house, the fifth
Fifth.
dimension. That's amazing.
Yeah, and sixth is Sirius. And Sirius is the star system that's associated with the downloading of Alice Bailey books. Their dimension is basically operative on like a sacred geometry. So I guess that's where I went when I had a near-death experience. But yeah, sacred geometry. So basically, if you could just imagine how we see this reality would just be in pure geometric relations in sixth dimension.
Wow.
But where we're hopping to is the fifth. So because we're already a mixture of third and the fourth, our next evolution is the fifth dimension.
So we're all ruled by the heart, and we operate from love, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's very amazing. So yeah, that really, as far as the geometric shapes and the geometric patterns, I like how Jim Carrey said they're just floating tetrahedrons just going around. But someone flipped my mind when they're like, we see the sun and the planets as third dimensional geoterrestrial organisms and luminaries, but maybe in a higher dimension, what we see as the sun could be an angel or like an actual being. And that really made me realize, okay, like the earth we're on is a goddess. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely helping me like see into the meaning of things.
That's what I also say about extraterrestrials is like once you're actually in an extraterrestrial body, you don't view the other extraterrestrials as extraterrestrial. It's only humans that call them aliens. Like,
True.
you know?
Yeah.
Because our experience is such of a separation that even though extraterrestrials are a level of our psyche, we view it as like something so external. That's why we say it's like aliens.
Mm-hmm. Just like how we used to call people from other countries aliens.
First, we have to resolve this. I'm like, people are like, oh, when are the aliens making contact? I'm like, can you maybe stop having judgment towards other people, and then they'll come. But it's like,
right? It's like I see how you guys treat each other. We ain't coming down there. Handle that first.
totally.
Yeah.
You know, like, have you watched the Game of Thrones?
You know what? I've purposefully not watched
Stop!
that. Yeah,
Stop
like
avoiding good things.
no, thank you. That's been my hugest problem. Like I haven't watched all the good movies and shows because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just wait till I watch it with someone. So it's like a partnership experience, but I'm missing out.
No,
So much good stuff. Because
it
this
can't be a partnership experience. It has to be alone. I love doing things alone.
I feel you on that. I really do. I think I'm definitely going to change that for sure. Cause I realize this a lot where people are downloading much of this knowledge too. They're doing a really good job of expressing it through production and art. But yeah, I have not seen a single episode of Game of Thrones.
Wow.
Yeah.
But for example, why would you want to watch it with somebody else if you can tap into their thoughts and emotions? Wouldn't you want to just have your own about the show instead of like
there's this like excitement people have when they know you haven't seen something and they watch it with you and they've seen it already, so you can read their energy when something's coming up. And I feel like because I'm not as aware, if I'm sitting with somebody when I'm watching a program, then their energy can like simultaneously protect and like also show me certain. It's like I feel I'll be able to see stuff deeper if I'm sitting with someone versus if I'm by myself and stuff just goes over my head. But it's really just an excuse.
that's really strange. What, like, look, your thought process, like your cognitive process of you explaining yourself like that, I'm like, did you know that about yourself, or are you like making that up on the spot, or like what's happening there? Like, I'm so confused. What's going on? You're so weird.
Yo, she's calling me out, y'all. She's calling. We gonna have to end this short. I'm getting called out. This is crazy. This is why Virgo moons I have sparingly limited time with. It is what it is. In fact, I won't even just stereotype your astrology positions. But yeah, honestly, I think it's both. I think I make it up, and I think it's kind of, you know, I'm not weird enough, by the way. But yes, I feel like perhaps it's something I both make up, but also something I think I'm aware of. See, that's
Right.
yeah,
But that level of like, I guess self, what do you call it? It's not criticism, but it's like self-analysis.
yeah,
It's really intense.
yeah, yeah. It is. It's oh my gosh, it's kind of it's
You're like, I know. I don't know what to do.
yeah. Actually, that's why it's so hard for me to put this into words now because I'm just realizing all the ways I've really gotten in my way. Like, so it's all like coming aware so I can transform it. But now I've gotten to this point where it's like, what am I gonna do now? Because it's like there's so much open. I know where I'm gonna start, thankfully, but yeah. Thank you, by the way. This is where like, there's certain details about this that I'm just like oblivious to until they're brought to awareness, which is why like I'm so grateful for people like you because it's like I get to see it in the real perspective and I could be called out, which is cool.
I think probably what's needed most is like this feminine energy in terms of like, I'm like the way I interact with life is very masculine too. That's just how we're conditioned, like this patriarchal
Yeah.
society. And yeah, this whole like trusting thing and not needing to do something about anything, I think totally. But I hold myself back a lot too. I'm like, come on, I eat a lot of junk food sometimes. And it's
I feel you on that.
and it's something that I know is like bringing down my frequency so much, but sometimes it's just like, oh my god, I don't know. Maybe the excuse that I have for it is that because we're so high density and consciousness people, like light workers and star seeds and stuff, right? And we're forced to stay in this like human morphogenetic field and body. We constantly have to like physically tune back into it, just like how we have to do that mentally and emotionally. So it's like we kind of bring it to the physical body as well. That's what I think happens. But
Yeah.
it's probably an excuse.
Yeah, plus, I've just been like horrendously lazy. So that's another reason too. It's like really deciding to commit and like get her done. As far as like watching shows that I could watch or just reading stuff. So it is what it is. I'm literally at that nexus point where I'm having to die to my old self and the ego death is just like so much right now. But it's also amazing. It's like I'm dying inside, but I love it. So it's like this weird duality. But I think we ended on the sixth dimension. So seventh is ooh,
Seventh, seventh is the point where, okay, like six and up, seventh is the point where I'm like, okay, these higher dimensions are something that's not too like distinguishable to me, my personal experience. It all just turns into a blur from there through experience. But rationally, seventh is ruled by Andromeda,
oh wow.
Andromedans. And this is where you can't exist as like polarity anymore. So, after that is like all unity consciousness. And when I interface like the higher beings, like from ninth dimensional awareness or whatever, I'm just like, what is the difference between ninth and 10th? Why do you guys even want to evolve? Like, what is, it's like something that's not comprehensible to me. No, not entirely.
The ninth and tenth.
But ninth, 10th, 11th, like I personally don't know the difference.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
But like experientially, but I know for a fact that 12th dimension is where our awareness is based. So let's say that all these dimensions are circles on a piece of paper. I view the 12th dimension as the paper itself. So that's like this awareness that I'm talking about all the time.
One moment. All right. Thank you for the super chat. I'm gonna hold off for a weekly live or transit talk, but yeah, I do agree. Like once that kind of goes into past the eighth, I believe, like it's when you start to lose your individual awareness, right? It's hard to because I kind of understood that as having the awareness of a galaxy as opposed to a human being. But
Right. So it's like, yeah, they talk about having an awareness as a solar system, holding together a consciousness as a solar system, and then a galaxy, and then an entire universe. But it's like I can't relate. I can't I can't relate right now.
That makes a
Can
lot of
you?
sense. You know what? I I like to think I can, but I don't know if I actually do. Like I'll make myself believe that I do have this high awareness, but then I end up realizing how like lack of awareness I really have. And now I've kind of learned to like my lack of awareness. Is weird, but yeah, yes, I do. I just don't know how yet. And that's because I need a shift. I realized I wanted to do so much on my own. I've reached a level to where I'm finally ready to connect. And that's what really enlightened me to the spiritual science of male and female sex or relationships, because the whole masculine and feminine energy creating that wholeness so that we can be aware of that,
Mm-hmm.
and having me realize that a twin flame connection, and I'm not going to use the word twin flame, but really I'm really actually half of a whole. Like I'm whole in myself, but an actual one unit is a man woman coming together, and then that's like one whole energy, and that with the yin and yang, and that's what really kind of. And it doesn't mean that that man or woman has to be your wife or husband or romantic. It's just like that feminine and masculine coming together as one. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely realizing more the need to care about more than myself, right? But also really learning how to perceive this, because once again, what's blocked me from this is experiencing it and realizing this is a lot, like feeling people's feelings, seeing synchronicities, and kind of being so nonlinear that it starts to question everything I know. And I didn't realize that I have to work through those subconscious blocks before it comes in very, you know, powerfully. So, and just to clarify, like as a man, I have masculine and feminine energy, and as a woman,
Yeah.
they have masculine and feminine. But coming together with that polarity, I realized is
Mm-hmm.
like the huge lesson for our generation. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely looking forward to that.
I think what's important after we talk about all these dimensions is that there are levels of our consciousness that hold together a galaxy, that hold together an entire universe, and we have a consciousness on those levels. But actually, the most, I guess, potent form of it, you have access to it right now. So the one that is actually more powerful than like a galactic consciousness, and that's just your awareness. I think this is like super important for me to talk about every time I talk about dimensions. It's this awareness. So if you can like identify this background of awareness that you have, that's separate from your thoughts, that's separate from your emotions, and separate from your sensations, there's always a background of awareness that's almost like when a fish is swimming in water, it doesn't know that the water is there because it's always soaked in it. That's
Wow.
kind of how we are with that level of awareness. So it's important to kind of try to reflect on it.
Yeah.
And that's the most potent form of consciousness.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
low key getting mesmerized here. So be patient with me. But yeah, that was really insightful. I am like feeling myself pick up more than I'm aware. So that's awesome. But yeah, other than that, outside, because I know you said you don't really know or understand more from like 8 or 9. I guess we can stop at 7, really. But I imagine 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 once again are just like higher planes of existence that might not be easily understandable to our
Well,
consciousness.
there are rational explanations to those dimensions that are like widely available in literature and stuff, but I personally don't like to talk about things that I don't have experiences. So for example, like sixth dimensions, like I travel there and stuff like that, so I understand it more. But I don't at this point, like as a human, other than the 12th, which is that level of awareness that I talked about, that is always available to every unit of consciousness. I don't have personal, like I cannot distinguish between, if I go to a light realm, I don't know if it's the 10th or 11th or like, I don't know. But what's helpful to actually point out this 12th dimensional consciousness is when you're having a complex of experiences. So like if you're tired or hungry, that's a good example. There's a level of yourself that is not hungry or tired at all that's looking at it.
Oh, and I'm glad you mentioned that because, and I don't think this is a direct correlation, but I started realizing and wanting to play with the psychology of hunger because if I know that I'm ordering food or I'm about to eat and I like feel and have thought that I'm going to eat that, my hunger goes away. And I'm like, I know I'm going to be hungry later, but I just always think that's weird. It's like I made myself think I was hungry until I knew I was going to eat. And then I'm like not hungry for like a split second. And I'm like, I wonder how I can play with this. And
Wow.
yeah, and now that really flipped the light bulb. And it's like, there's an aspect of us that doesn't get hungry, but we like see that facet of ourselves. That's so amazing. It's also leading me to my next question. How do you feel about what do you think are the different facets and the different dimensions of an individual? And how does that really play into integrating all of that? Where do you think we are concerning that?
What are we?
That was a very convoluted question now that I think about it. Like, where do you think we are when it comes to integrating our different selves? Because what you said, maybe.
Like this guy, what are we?
Oh, do you mean like you and I?
No.
Oh,
Like you're asking essentially like the deepest question of reality. You're just like, what are we?
my bad. No, no. What I was
No, it's okay.
asking,
No, I'd be happy.
what I was
What
asking,
could you? Yeah,
I
could you
wasn't
rephrase
asking.
it?
I wasn't asking what we are, but I was asking like, what is it that? How do we like integrate all of our multidimensional selves? Because when you said that, that made me think, okay, if there's a part of us that isn't hungry, then there's probably like different parts of us that are probably different dimensions, right? So, what's a good way to perceive that, and how are we integrating that right now?
The best way to integrate anything is to be constantly aware of your awareness. So when I say awareness of awareness, that's, for example, when you're hungry, realizing that there's a dimension of yourself that is not affected by any of your thoughts, emotions, and sensations, right? There's always that background of awareness. So without needing to worry about attuning yourself to sixth dimension, seventh dimension, or whatever, if you're constantly going back to the most powerful source, that is the awareness, everything else will just get in line. Like, so when people ask me, a lot of my clients ask me, I know I have all these superpowers. How can I activate like my clairvoyance? How can I activate all of these different powers? And I'm like, don't worry about any of that and just remain aware of your awareness. And that's like the highest frequency thing you can possibly do to your consciousness is tune to that subtle background. And then you'll start to experience all these other dimensions.
That is so, yeah, I've been so stuck on what I could be like a level of like, I'm glad you said that because I've been so preoccupied on what the higher level of awareness I could be that I wasn't focusing on this. So focusing on your current level will help you expand. And more so, you're saying to focus on the subtle level around us, right? Because in that sense, I'm learning more to like feel my feelings or feel the sensation of my energy. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like the training spirit wants me to do is to just feel it and hold it like they're clothes around my body. And it's so hard because I have not been able to maintain this for a minute without me like just completely getting distracted. And now that's why I have to go back and meditate so I can like focus my mind. But like, yeah, it's really an adventure. I'm really excited.
I want to clarify that we don't focus on the current dimension. That's not what I'm saying. So like, let's say our dimension is the third dimension. focus on the 12th dimension, which is the awareness. Can you do that right now? Like, can you be aware that you have an awareness without associating with any of your thoughts, emotions, and sensations?
When I do that, it makes me feel like I'm sitting in a bowl. And it's like, and it's,
What? Sorry, what did you?
it's like I'm sitting in a fishbowl and there's like a bigger me.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh at your experience, but I think maybe that's what's going on higher dimensions is you're probably sitting in like some UFO.
Yeah.
It's like a fish.
Well, I guess I said that wrong. It's just more so like I don't I don't sense myself like in my body, but I never. I'm gonna do that right now though. That was the best question you asked. So I need to sense myself aware of myself. That's kind of how I understood what you were saying.
Not of yourself. Don't be aware of yourself. Be aware of the awareness.
Oh, damn. Oh, that's
yes. Okay. So look. Let's say that your awareness is like a mirror, right? Our experience of an awareness is a mirror. If you're aware of your awareness, it would be like putting a mirror in front of the mirror. And then there's just this like, there's no other way to experience the human perception without reflecting stuff. That's just how we're made. Like even colors are reflections of light. That's just our given perspective. So all we can do is reflect on something. So if that's going to be something, reflect on the mirror. So that at least you know. Yes, you can.
Like I feel like I'm just blanking my mind out and feeling like I'm sensing.
But that's your thoughts. That's the one you don't dwell on. Whatever you're thinking that you can't do it is a thought. It's not the awareness. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's hard because as a Gemini, my actual conscious awareness is in my mind. So I like have to like transcend that, like you said, and go beyond that whole tendency to not be in my head. Because everything to me, I kind of live in my thoughts. Like I thought that's how like you live life. And then realizing, no, you get out your head. And then people say it, I'm like, how? But it's all good. Like I'm learning to actually I catching myself. I was about to say I don't know how, but that's a thought. So
think of it like, I don't know exactly. Let's say that the whole Gemini and the houses and the universe, the universal blueprint is generated on the 11th dimension or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But you have access to 12th, which is the awareness. So if you can tap into that, you're not bound by this Gemini trait.
You know, that's what I've been trying to do this whole time, and I didn't know that's what I've been trying to do. So thank you. You gave me a place to start. So I just have to tap into my awareness, you're saying, but my awareness of just being aware.
I'm going to send you a guided meditation later.
Thank you. Definitely. I thought I was doing it, but no, apparently not. I was just in a fishbowl somewhere, just chilling. How does
I feel like I'm sitting in a bowl. Like, what? What is that? What's happening?
Oh my gosh. Someone was asking if we're dating long distance and that we have great chemistry. I mean, don't get it twisted, y'all. I would have no problems dating Bora. I don't think you're Virgo moon. I'm pretty sure I would drive you crazy, to be honest.
If you think so?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I could just be a little bit too insensitive to water signs. Actually, I can't even play that whole game with you because it's not going to work. You're pretty well balanced, but yeah.
Thank you. But I'm like 24 hours of a plane ride away, so that's no.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of long distance myself, but it is what it is. Who knows? We'll see. Anything's possible, guys. I'm gonna definitely shoot my shot. Just not yet. I have to find my awareness first. And get it in there pretty good. But I do agree. I think we have some really nice chemistry. It's really fun. Kind of seems to flow. You have blown my mind. I'm sorry. Like I can't. Now I'm like I had no idea. I was like awarenessing wrong this whole time. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't wrong, but like I'm so curious now.
But most people live from a place like, at least you're aware that a lot of your interfacing reality comes from your thoughts. But most, like 99% of people have no idea that.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So does it come from? Oh, okay, good. It is from within you, though. This awareness you're talking about, this 12th part. It's not like you're being aware from the sky. It's an internal awareness coming out.
It's like literally like when I said, let's say that dimensions are drawn into circles, nesting into each other. Let's say that first dimension is here, second is here, third is here, and it's all on a piece of paper. The awareness is the paper. Like it's irrelevant to the diagrams.
Oh.
It's like
the actual. So would it be like feeling your everything that exists at once?
No, because feeling is an emotion. That's also the diagram.
Oh, that's so real. Damn.
Yeah, you have to like it's next level. It's like the awareness is really next level.
That is so amazing. This is awesome. This is really awesome. Well, yeah, I can't wait for that meditation. That's gonna be dope. If anything, that makes sense. In that sense, there's no right or wrong in that plane. But
if people watching, they want to try this meditation, I always recommend it to clients. It's called Awareness on Awareness. Like if you type awareness on YouTube, and the teacher is Michael Langford. And if you also go on Google and type his name, and the book is called The Most Direct Means to Eternal Bliss or something like that. And if you type PDF, you'll get a free copy. But that's basically one of the best tools I've ever seen anybody create to describe how to tap into the awareness. Wow. And his teachers are like, Maharshi and stuff like that, those like really Indian gurus and stuff. But the way he describes it in English is like perfect. So Michael Langford.
Michael Langford, Awareness on Awareness meditation.
Wait, your name is Michael too.
I know. I was like, he got my name. We got to say the namesake gang right there. And I used to feel really special about that until I realized it's like one of the most popular names. And there's like a lot.
Michael?
Yeah. They made this joke about how Michael might be, people might have lots of Michaels on their phones or whatever. But I don't care. I'll take it. I love it. It is what it is. I'm grateful.
I don't know if I have that many Michaels.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. Personally, in my phone, I don't think I do either, to be honest. But then again, I keep my contact list pretty small.
Small?
Yeah.
Are you like quite introverted in real life?
I have been going out of my way to be super introverted and a hermit. Like my phone isn't even like, my phone is dry as hell. Like I don't even text or call. Like I know that's going to change because I'm gonna be talking to our people. But yeah, I've been so addicted to being lonely, or not lonely, because I used to be depressed as a teen and think it's loneliness, and then I realized, holy shit, I'm just bored. Like I'm just really trying to like.
Wow.
It was a huge reality call. I was like, I'm not depressed. I'm just bored. What the hell? And like, wow. I've been processing depression, but for others, just feeling heaviness. But yeah, I've gotten so addicted to being isolated that I'm having to push myself out. One thing I do like though is every time I do go out, it's fun. It's really cool. Like I don't have social anxiety really, maybe like I used to. But now I'm at a place where I'm ready to come back out of the cave and the hermit closet, whatever, and like emerge, share myself, socialize. I feel like the skills and the lessons I learned alone can help me come out more. But that's where it's like I can't do it alone. Like I need to dance with other people and not trying. I didn't know how much I try to control things, and now I can kind of just let go. Listen.
With the whole depression thing, it's strange because for empaths, sometimes you're literally just picking up the collective, you know? And if you think about our societal matrix, most people are freaking depressed. And sometimes I'm like literally just going about my day and I just like get super sad for no reason. I start crying and I'm like, that's not even mine, you know? It's a collective.
Yeah, like I'll just have bipolar mood swings that I just process, and it's like there's no way that's me. The thing that's cool is I could just laugh at it all though. Like I'll just make light of it, and I feel like when I do, I piss certain energies off because I'm not serious about it, and I would just joke about everything. But when I mean like bipolar mood swings, I mean in a more like mild way where I'll just react really harshly or defensively to something, and I know sometimes
Yeah.
that defensiveness is kind of like me, but I also know like the intensity of it. I'll just after I release it, I'm like, it's not that deep. Like I just like release it. But that was when I learned my human design, and I realized as a projector and an empath, like, and I live in an apartment complex, so there's just so much like swirling energy around.
You're a projector? Aren't they like super rare?
Not as rare as reflectors, but yeah, projectors I think are less than 20%.
Uh-huh.
I don't have any. The only energy centers I have defined are like my solar plexus, and I think these. So everything else is empty, and I can just take it in, and it makes sense
Whoa.
why like I can feel like doing something when I'm around someone, and then once I get home, it's like my real feelings come out, and it's like, yeah, no, son, that is not you. So it is what it
Wow.
is.
Yeah.
Um, it's still just a great discovery. Just when I thought like astrology was the end all be all, which I think it's an amazing divine constant, I'm learning there's so much more systems. So let's do this. But let's play the questions game right now. We really could talk to you for another few hours. But let us definitely progress to the questions game right now. We'll take turns asking each other questions about anything. It doesn't have to be just about astrology or spirituality, but it could be. And yeah.
So I ask you something?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you go first, and then I'll answer, and then I'll ask you, then you answer, and we'll go back twice. Oh,
Okay. Well, okay.
can
Sorry
you
now.
guys in the chat tell me how I'm projecting on her so I can at least apparently I'm projecting on you. So if I
What is
am, I'm
it?
sorry. I don't some people said that I'm projecting on you. So I
Can
don't know.
they elaborate?
Yeah.
Can you guys elaborate?
Please do so I can know and stop my projecting ways. But yeah. Well, some people said no, I'm not, so we'll see. But they're trolling.
Wow.
They're trolling apparently. Never mind.
Can
But
they ask questions?
can they ask questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. I normally like to save Q&As for special videos, but if that's what you want, we could totally do that. We could take some questions. Did you want to just, yeah, we could just answer. Are you able to see the live chat from where you are? Because I have
No,
the link to the video.
I'm not even tuned into the video right now.
Cool. Well, we'll
Oh, well,
take
I was asking you what's your favorite song?
my favorite song. I don't have a favorite song because like
Right now.
right now, cool. Because like I'll listen to songs like over and over and over again, and then when I'm done, I move on to the next song. But I'll still have it in the playlist. I think my favorite song right now. Let me go on my Spotify playlist. Hold on.
I don't have
Mhm.
Spotify. I've never had Spotify in my life.
Do you use Apple Music or another service?
I just use SoundCloud. Is that really funny?
Oh, I love SoundCloud too. I use SoundCloud for more like local music, like indie
Local,
artists or whatnot.
local music. Local music.
Vocal music. That's hilarious.
Like the Cali area?
No, local music as far as like local artists that are, but I meant to say indie instead of local.
Right. I
Oh
guess
my,
that's a pretty cool connection.
I
You view the underground scene as local.
yeah, I don't know why I said that right now, but I meant to say indie or underground. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. King Los is dope. King Los is dope, but honestly, I don't know. To be honest, um, um, I don't think I have a favorite song. I really like "My Boy" by Wale, featuring J. Cole. I really like that song right now, but oh, I'm lying like shit. I do have a favorite song. My favorite song is Drop It Low Like a Discount by Turquoise Jeep. Pierre Cashmere featuring Flint Flossie, Drop It Low Like a Discount. Anything from Turquoise Jeep is like my favorite song. And also She Has a Lover. I love that song. Also by Pierre Cashmere. It's amazing. It's funny because they kind of do it sounds like parody songs, um, but they still kind of make it serious enough that you can jam to. I went to go see him in Vegas, and when I did, my stalker showed up, and it was a very
Your
special moment.
stock.
Yes, this lady who has been stalking me for a while, she says I actually got her spiritually pregnant. She moved. She brought her kids so that she could move in with me, and she's still waiting for the day that she can move in. She's still sending me emails. That's why I was hesitant to say I'm gonna move to Cali because hey, she might come there too. But hey, I think it just comes with the stuff.
She's from Vegas.
No, she's actually from the East Coast, but she drove all the way to Vegas
That's
just
really creepy.
yeah. But you know what? I think it's karma because I did go through that time when I was writing paragraphs in girls' inboxes and saying that they're the one for me. And I was kind of being a little obsessed. I've never stalked anyone like that, but I don't get mad at it because I'm like, okay, now I see how this could have looked like. And so
Mm.
I at least release like that. But yeah, that this is next level for real. I see it as more like maybe she's going through a mentally ill thing too. So I
For
won't
sure.
necessarily, yeah, but it is what it is. Like I said, I I really like to see the humor in things. So when she came up, I didn't be like, oh my God, go away. I was like, hey, what's up? You know what? You found me. Let's talk. And I hope I didn't enable it that way, but yeah, it is what it is. Right?
Uh,
I didn't I didn't want to just leave because the show was there, so I just kind of played it out, and then I just dipped. I just kind of just left out of nowhere, so she didn't know I left, and I kind of wanted that to say something, but I didn't. So it is what it is. But see, the reason why I'm so humble about this is like I'm a dude. Like I never felt threatened that my life is in danger, even though it could be. I can only imagine how terrifying it is for ladies who have to deal with this.
yeah, it was really annoying. I don't have physical stalkers, and I don't even have that many followers, but people like when they email me and stuff like this, but it's like if you came up to me in real life, like I'm a savage. I fucking don't.
Oh my gosh, it's like I felt a tap on my shoulder and I was at the bar and I looked to my right and I was like, keep character, keep character. And it was just like, oh my God, you're here. And she was like, yep, yep. And she felt like she won a prize or something. And it's like, damn. And it's because I had posted it on my Facebook before I went. So I'm not gonna do that anymore. It is what it
Yeah.
is. I'll probably post after I go. It is what it is. But yeah.
What's it like living in Vegas? Do you like it? Well, I guess you're moving, so
What was that?
what's it like living in Vegas?
It's it's awesome. See, it's so interesting. Now that I'm moving to Cali, I was ready to kind of explore because I really wouldn't go out unless my friends came to visit or just that off chance. I love it though because there's so many different people that come through. I feel energetically, it's like since I live next to the airport, and there's casinos everywhere. It's just so much opportunity. I wanted to at some point go to Fremont and do those live performances and make videos where I profile every week. Even if I move to Cali, I'll come back here to do that. But it's just like, wait one moment. It's just like at some level, you're I just also like that there's really there's amazing artists that come into town. There's just such great entertainment. But of course, I've taken it for granted. Like right when I'm ready to actually go out and go to shows, I'm going to Cali. But it's cool because it's 4 hours away. So I can always come back. I definitely want to do business here. Someone did a reading and said that they saw me having like a special tarot card slot machine or gambling thing. So I didn't
That's
even know that.
cool.
I didn't even know that was possible. So I'm so happy about that.
Sounds like a good idea. But Vegas is like a really huge portal for extraterrestrial traffic. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, it is. There's like I think there's like a million or 1,000, hundreds of thousands of people that come in and out every day. So I just feel like it's lucky to be here.
And you know, all these like casinos, like the level of energy and like just this monetary energy that flows in and out. It's such a huge portal. That's why the extraterrestrials like they come and they set up bases there. For real.
I think Area 51 is close to here too. But I would totally believe that there's Men in Black or ET presence here because not even because there's just anything exceptionally weird that comes with Vegas, but it's around the desert. I actually felt that the real reason I'm here is because there's some dark work that's going down here, and I'm meant to like infiltrate a couple bases or whatever. But
like hold down light there.
Yeah, hold down light, but also I feel like there's something tied to this desert land that I'm supposed to, because I moved from the desert in El Paso to another place in the desert. I was in Cali for a while. I left, and now I'm ready to go back. So I think maybe it's my earth element training before I do water with the ocean. But I love Vegas. I almost think I'm gonna miss it before I leave because I just know there's so much to do. There's a lot of big money here too. And I like my odds. I wanted to mischievously master magic so I can just go to the casinos and just win every roulette game I play. But you can also take calculated risks, double up on a color. I'm just now realizing this, though, at the last time. I'm not really a gambler, so I think it's a waste of money. But, definitely, no, I've been networking. I know the real reason why I go anywhere and do anything is for the people I meet. And normally when it's time for me to move, it's because I've met the right people. So I can just kind of come back and network when it's right.
Yeah.
And but I look forward to unlocking the potential of this town, which is going to be awesome. But I'm so sorry. I completely forgot we were playing the 3 questions game. My question for you is, what is the most paranormal experience you've ever had?
Other than the near-death experience, I've had physical recall of being beamed up to a spaceship, and this isn't like astral. It's not etheric light body. It was like physical, and I understand this as being like genetically modified, taking part in the hybridization program, and like this is where it gets like really, really rabbit hole. And I have experiences like that, so. I don't know really what to say to people who don't believe in stuff like this, but it was my physical experience. So that was the most paranormal thing that ever happened to me.
That you were traveling in space?
That I was beamed up to a spaceship from my house.
That is ridiculous. Because I love how you said it wasn't etheric. So like it's a real physical experience, but it didn't look that way, did it?
It was a physical experience where I literally felt I was up and I wasn't astral. I know the difference. And I was in my room and I started feeling my body like it was being disintegrated into like finer particles. Wow. And my entire like being was shaking. And what happened in the ship was I was interfacing with them, and I was like asking them to delete or like suppress my memory, because I'm like, I know this is going to be really, really traumatizing for my consciousness to remember.
Wow.
Yeah. But I know for a fact that a lot of people have the same experience and you just don't remember. Most likely you as well, especially you're in Vegas.
I feel that so strongly. Like there's certain moments I have that I think for me, it happens so fast that my conscious registers it as like a twitch, or like sometimes time will slow down. So I think I just suppress so much that I don't even
Memory.
realize. Yeah,
Yeah,
that I've experienced
for
it. So
sure.
I totally believe that you've experienced that. And it makes sense to naturally want to suppress that, because it would be hard for a conscious mind to and it really helped me learn that. So, it makes sense since these are high frequencies, they move at like billions of set per second. So it, it made me look that I need to stop trying to see it, because it's really something that I would have to slow down time to really witness and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what we can do is after this questions game, we can take like a good 5 questions if you still want to take questions. And we can do that. So hold off, guys. Once we do the third question, feel free to ask questions, and we'll just choose like 5 to answer before we close. My Okay, I think we're on round 2.
I asked you 2 questions.
Oh, good. I was like, I wonder if she's gonna notice. She did. Okay, I'll ask you
What?
this. So my second question for you is, what turns you off? What turns you off in men? Like, what do men do that's a total turn off?
Oh my God.
I'm gonna write this down in my notes just in case.
Um, but I mean, it's usually vibes. Like, okay, the way I
When men
mostly,
breathe, everything we do, being alive, blinking.
I think it's very hard for me to find people that I'm attracted to. Like, I've been like when I was 24, that entire year I was celibate. Most people, like, generally, I don't want to mingle my energy, because especially like with intimacy, after I have any kind of sexual intercourse, I can feel it so much for the next like month. I'm not even joking. Like, especially if it's with somebody unawakened. Oh my God, like it's just, it's not worth the energy. But I think one of the very human traits that turn me off is a lack of communication, or like lack of transparent communication.
Mm-hmm.
If people don't know how to like communicate remotely, that turns me off.
Okay. I know as a stereotypical with Venus and Virgos, y'all are just like super picky, but it's not really so much a pickiness as much as it's like a distinct. It's like, you know what you want, which is great. A lot of people really don't.
Hey, I don't know like the whole thing about Venus. Like, I know that I have Venus in Virgo, but what else does that mean about me?
Well, okay, it's in the 12th house. So I'm familiar having a 12th house Venus. I've had an imaginary girlfriend for a while. It's in Taurus though, so it's kind of grounded for me in physical objects. But 12th house Venus is legit. It's a divine. You're a divine lover because Mars is there too. So the way you approach love is at the highest level, unconditionally, to where you're willing to put in your all, but you also feel the 12th dimensional awareness of love. And that's why, on top of it being in Virgo, it's a divine. I love Libra risings for that reason, because you make scientific spirituality and facts. You can bring the facts out of abstract spiritual notions. So the divine real experience that Venus in the 12th gives you there allows you, with your moon there, to tap into someone at this most spiritual essence. This is why you're going to feel their essence after being intimate. But that Virgo energy will reject energies that are not pure and are not divine. And
Oh
so
my God, that makes so much sense.
it's the real deal. It's the real. This is also why you're able to sense fairies and otherworldly beings. It's specific to 12th house or energy, because um it makes you misunderstood, because like majority of people aren't going to have this energy really like that too, right? Yeah.
So what's your advice based on this Virgo Venus, like with my love life?
Is that your third question, or is that just a general?
No, I'm just like, okay, I don't know. I just
All
want to
right.
know.
I want you to ask a third question, but the advice for this is to see people with this energy. I'd advise to be even more picky because as a 12th house Venus, you are a divine partner in the sense where you're going to attract a very highly sensual spiritual relationship. Even your sensuality, if you were to touch certain people who are sensitive to it, it's like they can feel that very deeply. And it really gives you perfected sexual ability because it's in Virgo, right? And then you have Venus and Mars together. So really, the advice that I do have is to not be put off. It's hard to have Venus in the 12 because we can be long times without relationships because like there we can feel oceans away from people. Like if that person isn't spiritual, it's just not gonna click. It's gonna be one-sided. It's gonna be like certain people taking for granted the love we offer. So wait for another, you don't have to wait for another 12 houser, but you're going to attract. It's weird because you're real time doing this. 12th house there makes you so psychic that it's hard for you to be aware. As a Cancer, you will be, which I think is awesome. But my advice for you really is to just believe in where your heart's taking you. And as long as you always know that you're going to manifest like the highest divine spiritual relationship possible, the better. Like our composite energy is in the 12th house. So we kind of share that emotional experience, which is why it's kind of weird for me right now because I like feeling more than I'm used to feeling
Are
or
you
just
feeling
sensing.
my emotions?
Good question. I'm just really feeling our vibe. I think when we come together, I think that's why people see the chemistry with this, but it's like that 12th house energy kind of puts us in a very divine bubble. So when we kind of leave this broadcast, we could take it with each other. But yeah,
No, it's crazy that you're telling me like your advice to me would be more picky because I'm like, I can't be any more picky than I have been. So
I,
funny.
I had to learn that the hard way because I would just attach out of desperation sometimes, or just because I feel like I need to open up. But your heart is wise. Your heart knows what's best for. I mean, even though some people may say your heart's deceitful, this Venus aspect knows what's best for you. Like it's guiding you subconsciously. The only thing is be careful because you can be too neurotically obsessed with fixing things or getting
Oh
things right
my
that it undoes you. It's
god.
actually technically because it's in the 12, it's supernatural. That's why it's so hard for me to say it because I'm giving you the basic version, but it's so much more than that.
Mhm.
So, I hope you can work on that foundation because I barely scratched the surface because you also have Mars there. So that makes you a divine lover, which is the highest level of love or yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah, it's super intense.
And then Venus and Mars is not really love like people say, it's sex, female and or feminine and masculine sexuality. So that's what I mean by lover, like romantic lover. And then your moon's there. So that it's people wouldn't really know that part about you until they really know you because they see the Cancer and the Libra and you really come off as powerful until they realize you got some serious skills and you're able to really like you have hidden talents in bed, in art, in anything you kind of do.
Okay, next question.
Yeah.
I guess I
Last,
guess if there's like a timeline of 5 years, what's your biggest vision slash goal for your current trajectory?
so we're right on schedule. I realized that I was moving a bit too fast. And so a lot of people have seen me like stop with the moon signs and I erase stuff to kind of start again. And now, in retrospect, knowing that I'm going to be in a studio where I can produce my heart out, it makes sense why it was delayed because now I can move forward with this. So, right now, I'm the peace dealer. My
Mhm.
brand is Mystical Illuminations. I'm working on getting corporate incorporated so I can start selling merchandise, and I can actually physically ground a lot of these ideas. Um, as far as what I'm doing now, the first level of this is preliminary to where I teach about the planets and the signs. I want this YouTube channel to be a free educational resource to where you don't have to pay me to read your chart. You want to because like I'm not a doctor, right? So I'm going to go to a professional, and if you want to come to a professional astrologer, come through. But if you watch my channel, I'm going to have all about astrology, tarot, palmistry, to where you can realistically watch everything. And maybe I don't give out certifications, but you can learn how, at least the basics. And I want to make it interactive, make it funny, and make it entertaining. And then I'm actually now in my 30s, which 5 years from now is going to be 2023. So in my 30s is when I'm going to start taking students to teach them. And I'm currently curating online courses on Udemy so that everything that I have on YouTube, I could also teach people. And if anyone wants to take this idea, you're totally welcome. I wouldn't feel like anyone's stealing. I'm doing this as a blueprint. So anyone can do this too. This is just my perspective with it. I'm going to, of course, have the free educational resources on YouTube. And then I'm also going to create an online course based on everything I'm doing for more extensive information. And outside of, once I get that done, then I can do what I really want to do, which is to make sitcoms. I want to make a YouTube exclusive show about a detective who gets hired as a consultant to work with like actual forensic specialists, and they're like, what's your skill? Oh, I know astrology. And they're like, that's not legit. But then I'll go, the character will go and be like, oh, this person's a Taurus, so they probably were eating earlier, and then
it's actually really thick.
Yeah, right. So it's like at first they're skeptical, but then they start producing results, and then you kind of go, and that'll just be one of many shows that I have on the channel to where I can start pitching shows to Netflix and whatnot and having exclusive series. So I can get that done in 5 years. By 2020, I want to have all my YouTube channel completed, have the online, like the Mentalist, just like Miss Nadia said, it's basically based off the Mentalist. I definitely want to have the online classes ready by 2020, and then 2020 to 2023 is going to be more outreach. Once I have like my brand ready with the merchandise, then I can focus more on meetups. I'm gonna be touring around doing nonprofits to raise money based on what we do as the $1 Billion Vibe Tribe, and just show people our outreach. So that's my plan right now. I didn't come up with it until like the last year and a half. Up until then, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just knew I was like walking somewhere. So definitely grateful. That was a great question too. My question for you is, what are your 3 favorite zodiac signs, and what 3 give you the most challenge?
I don't know, because I don't profile people as you do, but I know for a fact that the people that I end up getting intimate with are usually Virgo. I don't know what that means about me, but
no, that makes perfect sense. That's your soul.
Really?
Yeah, you usually attract your moon sign because that's your soul.
Whoa.
So it's gonna,
okay, so I've been pretty accurate.
Yeah. Oh, you stay on point. That's what I've been noticing about you. You definitely stay on point. I'll ask you a different question then.
Okay.
If you could trademark a superpower based on your current abilities, what is like one superpower that you can emerge that you could say, this is what I can do consistently?
Being aware of my awareness.
Oh, you got it. That counts. Okay, that is a superpower.
It's a real superpower.
So does that ground you to where it like recenters you in the awareness?
It basically, let's put it like this: your reality right now, the reality that you're experiencing, you're the most sentient piece of consciousness in your reality, like period. Do you have any proof otherwise? Everything else is in your perception. So even if you see an archangel or an alien, it's a product of your perception. So actually, you're the most sentient being in your entire timeline, essentially, or the sequence of timelines. And I'm the most sentient one in mine. And everybody else who's watching this, you're the most sentient being in your personal reality. Basically, what the attunement to awareness does is remind you of that fact, because we're recalibrating to the consciousness that everything is based from.
That makes sense too, because when you listen to the rhetoric of higher beings, they never assert themselves as higher than you. They assert themselves as servicing you, as if you.
Right.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And yeah, you're just, if you can perceive something, you have to always remember that you're perceiving it, like it doesn't exist outside of your perception. So that's what I like to remind people.
There is a oh wow. That was a great answer. Oh wait, what the hell? Oh, okay, cool.
Somebody keeps putting bunnies. I really like this bunny emojis.
Pono 8008. We are now opening up to take questions. Solipsism. There we go. I think what you mentioned is called solipsism, where like everyone, the self is all that can known to be exist, and it's like everyone has their own movies that they play out where they're the main character of their own movie, and we're all extras in their own script. But
wow, I didn't even know a term existed for that. Thank you, Winter World. That's like Game of Thrones.
All right. Let's see if we can find the first question. You really love Game of Thrones. That's what I should ask you. What's your favorite show right now?
Actually, I haven't watched TV in so long, but my favorite show of all time is probably Dexter. I've written, like, when I was in undergrad, like university, I've written at least like 3 essays about Dexter and how important it is to our society.
That's one show I need to see too. I haven't. That's such a good premise. FX is dope. So, Lady Snake Priestess actually asked, where did she learn about awareness?
I was born with it.
Facts, though. Yeah. So you didn't learn it. You just always have been it, right? You've always had it.
Like where I learn like grounded knowledge about things, I read a lot of books. It's always simultaneous though. I get downloads from higher realms, and then they like to fortify it in human perspectives through sending me different resources, right? So like books, YouTube, teachers,
True.
etc. Books are great though.
That's what's up. Amanda Jackson asks, what house is her sun and moon in? Your sun is in the 10th house and your moon is in the 12th house as a Libra rising, which is great. Libra rising, my youngest sister is a Libra rising Cancer. And what I love about y'all is how you're aware and conscientious about how what you do affects the world and how your message will be perceived by the world, which is freaking awesome. But oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's like you're pointing out things about me that I didn't even know. It's cool.
No, it's totally fine. Lady asked what resources with books, and Miss Nadia also asked, "Do you believe in the afterlife?" That was a good question.
Do I believe in the afterlife? Yeah, I guess so, but I just I wouldn't call it after, because that implies some sort of what do you call it, sequence. I just think that time exists separate from events, so I wouldn't view it as an afterlife. It's just another timeline.
Yeah. Good to know.
You?
I was literally going to say that too. Like up until now, and I've really seen it. I was going to say that as in our 3-dimensional awareness, we see it as like an after, a realm that you go to in a spiritual realm. But I'm realizing it's all overlapped in this one realm.
Yeah.
So it's really just a transition. Damn, my energy just got hella grounded really quick. That's so
interesting.
Yeah. Or over time, it is what it is. Do not turn to mediums or spiritists. Do not seek them out to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. That's what I really love when people cite Bible verses in relation to what we do, because they don't realize that we're not mediums or spiritists like that. It's not to say that we can't do that, but people who kind of quote Bible verses like that don't realize that what we're doing is actually in accordance to the word. We're not really doing anything different than what preachers do. We're just doing it in unconventional ways. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting. But
I'm guessing that was the end of these questions.
Loretta asks, how can you tap into the 12th dimension? But you answered that by saying, check out the Awareness on Awareness meditation by Michael Ludwig.
Langford.
Langford. There we
Ledwig.
go. Where did I get Ludwig, bro? What the
Also, he has a book called the Most Direct Means to Eternal Bliss. And if you type that title, The Most Direct Means to Eternal Bliss, and add the word PDF, you'll get a free copy. And it's probably the most enlightening book that you can possibly read, because it forces you not to read from an egoic perspective, which is really messed up. If you don't have patience, you will not be able to read that book.
What's it called again?
The Most Direct Means to Eternal Bliss. I could be wrong with a couple of words, but it should come up.
Most direct and rapid means to eternal bliss. Yes. Nice.
And rapid? That's no way. There's
Unless
no
there was a
and
Mandela
rapid.
effect. Oh, okay. No, it says the most direct means to eternal bliss. What did this Google result tell me real quick? Hold on.
And rapid? No.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Looks like there's two books, because this one is showing me most direct and rapid.
No. You gotta put in Michael Langford as well then.
No, it says books by Michael Langford. There's like the most direct means to eternal bliss, and then there's the most. This is weird. Yeah, here. Let me show you. Let me show you. Just in case it's like not the same book, right? So here we have the most.
Whoa. Sorry. Yeah, that's it. That's it. But like,
You
put
have
it on. Put
the
it
most
on.
direct and rapid means to eternal.
No.
I guess this is the real one.
Yeah, but you could put that on Google with the word PDF, and you'll get the online version for free.
Ooh, there we go. You're hooking it up. Let me
But I
just.
love Amazon. I miss Amazon because I used to buy everything from Amazon when I was in Toronto,
Yeah.
and now we don't have Amazon.
Oh, okay. So you were in Canada before. Oh, nice. It is free. That's awesome. Good lucks. All right. Well, Brett Dickinson has asked, wait, hold on. How do you create energetic boundaries? And Dayside asks, can you explain having your moon in the okay, well, I'll answer the second one, but how do you create energetic boundaries?
How do I create it? You can just visualize it the way, actually intention is enough if you have a strong enough intention. So if you just think, I'm gonna set an intention to create boundaries, that's gonna do that. You can visualize it, golden white light or violet flame, doesn't matter.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we're gonna close here. Um, that was really awesome. This is really weird because like I'm feeling something that I'm not aware of happening, and it's a good thing. It's just very deep. Anyway,
Wow, thank you.
here's my Thor hammer for whoever asked. Um, thank you so much once again, Bora.
Thank you for inviting me here.
No problem. No problem. Looking forward for more horoscopes. How can people reach you? Please make sure you subscribe to her channel down below. What services do you offer, and how can people reach you?
So yeah, my YouTube, you can just follow me there. I put out energy readings, and I'm gonna start carrying more informational videos about like extraterrestrials and things like that because it's requested. I offer energy readings, like tarot card readings. You can find that in my YouTube channel. I have an Etsy link. And something else that I do is I create a mobile application for group meditation. So if you want, you can download that. It's called Solvana.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
And
thank you.
Do you have any final word of advice for people walking this spiritual path?
Be aware of your awareness. Focus on nothing else but that, and everything else will get in line, because that's the highest form of anything.
Beautiful. Amen. We're going to close there. Thank you guys so much again for staying tuned. You know what it is. Black and yellow, black and I'm showing. And until
What?
I couldn't resist.
You're right. Like, you are driving me crazy.
See?
What? You're like, I'm sitting in a bowl. Like,
yeah.
you keep sitting in the bowl.
Just keep sitting. I'm not even swimming. It was like an empty bowl. It wasn't even like water, but it is what it is. You guys stay tuned until next time. And as always, peace out.
Thank you. Bye.